now this thing they can improve in this way.
And like one of the things I was trying to do, and like I think maybe you guys could apply this for other interviews, just like what is the thinking that goes around the difference between products and solutions. So like what's the debate that they're having around like why this decision was made? Like maybe
that was good that you called that out.
You could say like, what decision do you think was made to put this there? Because then it goes to the empathy of the person who actually had to put this together. And like maybe they're going to hear me say something where it's like, yeah, we did have that debate and I lost it, but at least like it's like not just saying like their final decision was crap.
Yeah. I am literally putting that specific question right into my template.
No, I actually until you said it, I didn't consider it that way, because for me, I always hate it because I'm looking at it from the lens of the business owner. It's like, I don't care about your products. Like, I have a certain thing that I need to solve. I want to find that.
Hi, everyone. This is Joshua Hoffman and Alex Garashenko, and welcome to another episode of the Masters in Marketing Agency podcast, where we deconstruct the why and how agency owners found their success and learn a little bit more about how they help their clients. Today, I have Jesse McCabe, partner and CEO of Solid Digital, a web design agency guiding businesses to achieve digital growth through award-winning work in design, software development, and digital marketing. Welcome, Jesse.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Right before we started the recording, you kind of alluded to where I was going to jump into, so I almost like wanted to stop the conversation so we could get into it during the recording. But where I want to start is something fun, because I believe you're the first person we've had on the show that owns a haunted house. So can you tell us a little bit more about that and who you work on it with?
Yeah. So, I mean, it really starts with my son. He got way into those Halloween animatronics. You see it like Spirit, right? And he started like doing unboxing videos for, his 20 subscribers on YouTube. This was back in like 2019, right? Like it was it was earlier than that. It's probably like 2016, 2017. And he was just like doing it for himself. And then we had like this one thing where he showed his collection of like 18 of them on our back porch, and it just blew up and it went crazy. Like this was like right when the pandemic was starting. And I think like people were just like looking for content, and like, so we kind of helped with like getting him to take that opportunity and build it out more. And eventually like he just, grew into this, YouTube, celebrity is not the right word, but it's like in his niche, like he got very popular, right? Like for kids between the ages of 7 and 13 who really liked animatronics, Halloween animatronics. Well, then of course we had to like start displaying them out on our front yard. And so, we were like building these kind of like just displays of all of these props that he had, within a couple years, he had like over 100 of them. And then it got into like, hey, you know what? Let's make a little bit of a haunted house in our garage. And so we built like these like walls and made a little maze in the garage. And then it was like, why don't we like take people all the way around our house and we'll like create different things in different areas. And so we did that. And then like 2 years ago, we get this call from ABC, and they're like, hey, we noticed that you have a pretty popular home haunt. Like at this point, we had like thousands of people coming and checking us out. What do you think about, being on this reality show contest thing? And basically like this Christmas light show that they have on ABC. They did one season where they like had these Halloween setups. And so, the crazy thing is that meant that we had to start building in July to create this display so that they could record it in August, and then, it showed in October. So our neighbors absolutely think we're nuts at this point, right? It's like, what are they doing in July? Anyways, I'm making this a long story. So
That's great.
It's
It's
yeah.
awesome. I love it.
So it goes great. We actually like scared the host like so much he fell on his ass, and we ended up winning the show. And we took that money. We won like $50,000. Quite a bit less after taxes.
Sure.
But for the sake of our neighborhood, we decided to like go professional. And so like last year, we took that, invested a bunch more money into building it out into this the building that we're in is crazy. It's called 5 Points Haunt, the number 5pointshaunt.com. And like the building I found photos from the 30s. It was like an old barn that used to like have hay and stuff, like back when it was all country. And like we walked in because the owners had known about our story, and so they like asked us if we wanted to like use the space. We walked in, we're like, this is just crazy. It's like it's meant for a haunted house. So it's become about as equal in effort and attention as Solid Digital, but so we're in the process of doing a bunch of stuff right now, getting it ready to put on the show in October. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's great.
Where it like kind of crosses for me is like we're building escape room version of it. We have like a lot of tech in there. So, I'm like doing Arduino work and, coming up with like cool ways to integrate AI and other stuff into it. So I really like find a lot of value in, and I mean, marketing, of course, right? Like, getting people into I will say it's a completely different industry than what I'm used to working with. And getting people into a haunted house is, in some ways easier, but some ways it's like also harder than just like doing straight up B2B marketing. But yeah, it's definitely a second passion here.
Awesome. I love that. I'm so glad we started with that. But you mentioned Arduino, and I guess to start to move slightly into the business realm, I find your journey fairly unique because you actually started as a programmer, developer, and then got into marketing, which is not, I mean, I think we've had over 100 episodes, and I'm going to guess maybe 1, 2, or 3 have ever started in the coding world and then moved into it's just not a natural progression. So how did that happen?
Well, I don't know, ADD probably. Like I went and, I worked at an association, I worked at a hosting company, I worked at a variety of different places where I was like just a programmer working on the same stuff every day, and it was fine. And I kind of like saw like that's just the way it is. But then I like went and worked at an agency as like their director of technology, and I was like hooked because it was like, we were working for Nestle, and we like had 18 different brands that we were working on. So it was like every day was a new thing. It was like big challenges. Like, I mean, like it's funny now because of Trump, but like the biggest campaign we did was a Taster's Choice campaign on The Apprentice. And it was literally like a Taster's Choice giveaway at the end of the episode. And it was like, we were preparing for, this was like peak Apprentice. We were preparing for like 5 million form submissions. This is like 2002 or 2003, and like they didn't even have what was called CDNs at this point, right? Like it was like they were like just kind of coming up on this in our realm, and so we had to like really figure out how we were going to handle this, and we did. And so it was like this huge technical hurdle. It was very marketing focused. It was very much like I could tell everybody what I was doing, and like everybody understood. And so I liked that, and like the day after it, I came into the agency, and they all gave us like a round of applause, and so like that was like enough. That like hooked me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be chasing that for the rest of my life.
Do you take anything from your dev days and bring it to marketing? Best practices, whatever it is, anything?
Oh, best practices? I don't know about best practices. No, but like I love I love marketing tech. I love finding new ways that we can use technology and campaigns integrated with our client stuff. You know, I mean, like right now I'm like way into Clay and AI enrichment for, you know, data, and like how do we like automate stuff from, you know, coming into a CRM to then like exploring and finding more information about the brand and the person that is, you know, coming to the site, and like how does that filter then down into like, you know, sales enablement, and, you know, how do we find better qualified leads for our clients. It's all, you know, it's like there's all these new ways of doing this stuff, and I love it. I'm working on a WordPress plugin right now to like enhance the experience on our clients' websites. So yeah, my passion is definitely programming. Like number one, like since I was the age of 8, like it's what I do in my free time. I love it. I like the application to marketing, just the best. That's that's where I found myself.
Has it, and you've built a pretty significant team. Has what you've learned in programming kind of guided you in any way? Because I feel like it's programming versus marketing. There's a very analytical, process-driven side of problem solving, which you definitely have in marketing, but marketing takes a more creative approach usually. How's that been for you?
Yeah. Well, like our consulting program is called Digital Growth, and it's very much like, I mean, like I even created an equation for it. So it's like, it's very much driven by like what gets measured gets done. Like that's one of my favorite sayings, right? It's like, if I'm collecting data on something, I will see progress in some way or another. And I love the scientific method. So like, I guess like, how that left brain of like creating software applies to then like how do we drive people to do and act the way that we want them to act when it comes to like our marketing process, right? Like what I hate and what I will never ever be is like one of these agencies where, you know, we have this one straight up SEO product and you come in and we're going to do the same thing for you that we're always going to do for everybody else. Like that just, like we tried that. It's annoying to me. So like I want to have some sort of agile, right, process to the way that we are applying marketing, because it's not always going to work. Like at some point you are going to hit a ceiling if you stay stagnant and just keep doing the same things. So yeah, that's what I think where it applies in terms of.
I think one of the other things that I saw that was uniquely different about you than other branding. Well, I'm going to say branding, but more like web development focused teams that do digital marketing is your company essentially requires as like it's part of the standard package customer interviews, and I think that inherently will give you different starting points with each company that you engage with.
Yeah, no, I mean like we started just doing it. Well, okay, so here's what I found. I stole this idea from somebody else, and like it's not like it's that crazy of an idea, but you know, like when I hired a sales consultant to come in and help me because I had to learn how to do sales too, which is not easy for a programmer.
Yeah. Right. Programmer builds the product first.
Yeah. Like I'm cool in front of the monitor. What they did was like, I would go on sales calls and then they would follow up. The sales consultant would follow up and have an interview with them about their experience with me and then come back and provide me with feedback on it. And like, it was like the most insightful stuff. And like, yeah, I learned so much stuff about myself. And I found like especially like new customers to a brand, it's like a similar kind of thing. It's like, you don't know what they're thinking when they're going through the sales process. Like we can all make assumptions, but like they had reasons for picking you. Like what was in their head? Like how were they like evaluating you compared to your competition? And like that data is such good data when it comes to like what kind of content are we going to put on the website, because we have to highlight the differences because everybody's going to be comparing. right? Like I expect when somebody contacts me, they've at least talked to 2 or 3 other people already. Or if they haven't, they're going to. And I'll even tell them, you should go out and talk to other people, because like, I want you to make an informed decision. And, I'm not the perfect fit for everybody.
Well, so, when I'll say, sorry, continue.
No, that's it.
Well, I was going to say, I think not knowing exactly what's in their head is why attribution is kind of an imperfect science right now. Like, you can get as close as you can. I don't want to go in the direction of attribution, but I think it's why it's so difficult is you just really never know at the end of the day. But I actually want to take a step back.
Yeah, one sec. Hold on. I have a quick confession to make. So after our discovery call, and I saw that on your site, it was like a light bulb went off for me. So without going into it, we have this one service where we just focused on conversion rate optimization. Separately, I do consulting as a fractional CTO. Anytime I do consulting as a fractional CTO, I always bring in a product strategist. I have a few that I work with. They always start with customer interviews, user interviews. And I'm just like, why the fuck are we not doing that for websites? And so thank you. Because then I called one of my buddies and I was like, you're doing this for all of my websites now. And he was like, yeah, sign me up.
That's great. Yeah, no, definitely. It holds so much, like, also it's about getting the attention of the decision makers to go with your ideas too, right? It's like, if I tell you your customer literally said this to me, like, that you should do this, there's more chance of them believing it.
That's a fantastic point. So I did that last year where I proposed to our entire company, the product that we're building is very early stage, and I didn't think that the direction that the product and sales and marketing were going were necessarily correct. And I proposed this giant pivot, strategy doc, and it got good. People agreed, like they thought that was the direction we should go. But then we hired a product marketing consultant, and that person started with interviews. And a lot of what was that we learned in the interviews was in that doc that I proposed, but the weight of no, your customers are literally saying this, as opposed to this is what came out of Josh's mind, convinced everyone. So
all you got to do, Josh, next time is just say, I talked to a bunch of customers and this is what they told me to do.
I mean, you're on the front lines talking.
It was from my startup experience. So it came from somewhere, but it wasn't from this industry. It wasn't from this market. It wasn't from this product. Right. And the difference is huge. Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm joking about lying to your team, but like, I do think there is something about taking that information and helping reinforce your ideas. Like, I think, like,
entirely
right. Like, I'm not going to just what Steve Jobs, like, if you're, or whatever the saying is about, asking your customers what they want. Like, you're not going to get.
It's it is Steve Jobs. It's if you ask if you ask people back in the day if what they wanted, they would say a faster horse and not a car.
Right. Exactly. So I think, like, I think we know what we want to say. It's reinforcing that.
But the problem is still the same. Actually, the buddy that I asked to do the interviews for me, we used to run these tech roundtables back before COVID, and he did a presentation on this, and he used that quote, and he's like, yes, they wouldn't have said that they needed a car. They would have said a faster horse, but they're not there to propose solutions. They're there to present the problems, and it's on you to then come up with solutions and present them to them and say this or that.
Yeah.
How would you use this? That's the difference between good sales and not good sales, right? Like, a lot of times you'll get, whether it's you'll get a prospect in front of you, and they think they know all of the answers. And a lot of time, I ran into this the other week, and they were just totally wrong. And it's a game to convince them properly that they're wrong. This is the actual solution. We're the expert. You can't say any of that, but
no, you can't.
But that's the reality of kind of an initial sale. All right. Now I do want to take a step back because we properly jumped right into it really quickly. But I want to make sure I'm setting the foundation of kind of what you do. So can you tell us a little bit more about Solid Digital and what you guys work on?
Yeah. So I think, like, when it comes to web design, there's, like, really kind of like 3 different types of agencies that do the work. So I think there's, like, your high design creative agencies, like they're typically like B2C kind of agencies where they're trying to always do something different. They're like highly brand focused, like to the point of almost like changing the brand. And then I think there's like more tech kind of agencies where, they'll find good themes and they'll use those. But the idea is like, we're going to integrate you and get you like going with all this stuff. I think a lot of e-commerce companies might use like agencies like that. And then I think like where we fall is we're more strategic. Like I think we have a good balance of tech. We have a good balance of design, but we're not going to like do something completely groundbreaking, because it's more about like, well, what is this website supposed to be doing for the brand? Like, how does the marketing team going to use this tool moving forward? Like, how do we get everybody set up so that this becomes a good hub for customers to come learn about who you are? But then like, there's an intent. Like we want them on some sort of journey that is going to bring value to the organization. And so like, that's really like where we end up. And so I always get into conversations with prospects about like, what the colors and fonts are going to be like. Like to me, like that doesn't matter so much. Now, it does matter to our creative director, but like for me, it's like, what do you want to accomplish with this site? And if it's just like, I just want it to look better and then I'm going to walk away, it's probably not the best fit for us. So we don't take on a lot of projects. We have probably, 8 website projects we do a year. But the intention is that, this is the start is building out the site. And then, digital growth is definitely our, best engagement when it comes to after the site is launched. And that's our ongoing program where I think it's very content focused in terms of like what it's trying to accomplish. So, what I've learned is that as long as you keep your site fresh, creating more content, doing more things on it, making changes, it helps a lot with SEO. It helps a lot with like understanding like how your users are behaving on your site, but it also like helps keep the marketing team engaged with that site. So we really push that. Like we try to get all of our clients to do at least 10 pieces of content a month. And we're not really doing it for them. So the intent is like you find ways to incentivize like people within your organization who are subject matter experts to create content for you. You set up processes like in your marketing team, you build calendars and editorial calendars for how you're going to be delivering content. You think about like when I'm generating content, how do I split that up into 3 or 4 different pieces of content so that like I can get more out to social media. So the intent there is really like do a lot of content. And so far that's like worked for us over the last 7 years that we've been doing this. It's like almost foolproof when it comes to improving clients' engagements. But then on top of that, we are also tracking like how much organic traffic are you bringing in? Like in terms of keywords, like what are you ranking for? I'm less worried about like what do you want to rank for? Because like a lot of times people come to us and we're like, we want to win this keyword. And I'm like, well, what keywords are you already winning for? Let's monitor that. And like let's create content around the things that we see opportunity with versus, like let's just optimize all of our pages to try to like capitalize on this one special keyword that maybe there's not even anybody really, searching for it. And then conversion. So like how many conversions are we getting? And that's where we do a balance of like, for me, organic is king, right? Like organic is your 401k. Like you're putting money in there and it's not going away, right? Like it's building up and it's really hard to bring it down. So while we're not getting strong conversions on the organic side, that's where we have opportunities of using paid to supplement and keep things moving forward. And it's also where we can learn. Like we can learn just like how are these ads speaking to people and like, getting people to the site and ultimately converting and then apply that to like what kind of, again, like going back to the content, what kind of content do we need to create? And like, how does that apply to like our organic strategy? So it's really like those 4 kind of key metrics that really focus on the ongoing basis. And it, you know, it keeps us highly engaged with our clients. It keeps us like on our toes in terms of like what things are we focused on. You know, we get to certain levels of like, you know, okay, we're getting our content in place, but maybe now we need to like be a little bit better at, you know, focused on what kind of content we're creating. You know, just, I mean, tracking keywords and like how many, like I just look at higher volume keywords and, you know, the count, the number of keywords that they're ranking for versus like specific keyword combinations, because like it's the, you know, all tides. I'm horrible at things.
Right, a rising tide
right.
lifts all
Yes,
ships.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm usually the same. I mean, like, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
You know,
The tides and the boats next.
The horses and the cars. So you know, like the more that we get just established there, the better. And you know, clients stick around with us then, and it also gives us the opportunity to do what I like to do, which is like find new tech and integrate it. Mm-hmm. So like again, it's not like going back every month to do the same things all the time. So and plus, I like teaching our clients. Like I like working and educating like them and getting them to a point where they can do a lot of stuff. Because like I'm very much the guy that doesn't want to be doing the same thing for all of my clients at all. So like if I get to a certain point, I'm just going to get bored. I'd rather have you learn how to do it and I'll do the fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, from everything you said, even the example with the haunted house and like your son, it seems like you're just naturally an enabler. Yeah, and I think like, oh, you seem to be like you could do this. You're having success here. Here's some resources and tools. Go.
Yeah. No, I think I've been reinforced in like, you know, the more that I get people to do these things on their own, the better, the more I get out of it too. So it's like whether it's, you know, seeing my son succeed in certain things, or if it's just being able to do fun things with our clients where I'm not, bored with what activities need to be done.
Yeah, and you know, I was going to ask you, my next question was going to be, you know, what makes your process or your services unique? But I think you dove into that, so I think the best thing we could do right now is probably diving into an example.
Yeah, I want to see this in action.
Kind of see how your brain thinks through looking at a website and everything like that. So, Alex, you want to screen share and we'll take a look?
Yeah. All right,
this is the point in the pod where I start to rip.
That's right, rip it up. And we haven't shared this with you previously. And I just pulled this at random.
Oh, God. No.
So take us through how you evaluate sites when you first get there.
Okay. So like, this isn't bad. I'm okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me know where you want me to scroll.
Okay. What I really like right off the bat, which most companies don't do this, is they are talking directly to their ideal customer profile, right? Like they're not talking about themselves. They are talking about their ICP, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're saying, you can run revenue. You could drive predictable growth, right? Like it does apply back to them, but like, I think that's good. Like I'm in already. I'm not going to be able to rip them a new one.
You said you wanted it to be hard.
I don't know. This is good. No, so far I'm in. Like I like this. I think it's nice that they have different calls to action too. I think sometimes people get hung up on like I'm always going to use the same call to action. So up in the top they have see Clary,
I think,
in action, which I think leads to the same thing as take a tour, I'm assuming. But it's like a different kind of wording.
No, this is demo request, and this is product tour.
I mean, everybody's got to stop with the stupid chat bots though. Like honestly, like kill it. It's like we all ignore it at this point, unless you put it on your contact us page to get support. I mean, this is just me personally as a user. I ignore it, and especially like at this point in my journey, I'm not going to be. Early. Yeah, it's way too early. So you're right up in my face, and it's annoying. So I close it, and then I never open it up again. And it kills the vibe too. It's like this is a nice looking presentation for your first experience with the brand, and then there's just like this doop.
It's real quick. It's funny about that. Right when we opened up the page, I was gonna say, "Hey, Alex, can you like minimize that thing?" I was like,
"Right,
no.
Yeah, can you get it out of the way?"
No, I wanted to as well. Like my natural reaction, I opened this when we started the podcast, and I was like, "I'll leave it there." Yeah, because that's how it loaded.
What? Yeah. So whatever. But other than that, like messaging wise, I'm good. The only platform to run all the enterprise workflows end to end. It's interesting. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Before we scroll, do you think there's anything missing from before the fold, or anything that you would replace with something potentially more valuable?
I mean, I am a fan of kind of like, I don't think it matters that much what the graphics are here, because I don't really, it doesn't tie me to like, well, what problem is it trying to solve? But it definitely tells me, are you a software focused company or are you a service people focused organization? So like, I think like, as long as that's the path that they want to go down, where it's like, hey, we do really want to be thought of as SaaS and technology first, like that's giving that like, subconscious idea to the user. So I think that's good. Their nav seems a little like weak, but I'm okay with that too, because I actually, if we could get rid of navs, like I would be really happy. I just think like it's the same. Here's my new analogy that just came to my head. It's like when I only had 3 channels on TV to watch: NBC, ABC, and CBS. Like I would easily choose where I wanted to go, right? Like that linear television, and I was stuck with like whatever was on. And so like that was it, and that forced me to enjoy those shows. So like where we've gotten to though is like like now it's like I go on to Netflix or Prime and I'm like, I don't know what to watch. I spend 45 minutes figuring out what to watch. So like so with navs, for me, it's always less is more. Like I want to get people into that linear path of like, okay, all right, I see what you're saying here, and like keep them scrolling down, and then give them these like off ramps to where they can like learn more about those specific things.
Paradox of choice is what it's called. It's easier to choose between 3 than it is 20. I actually think that a lot of supermarkets picked up on that, where you got the big supermarkets that still have 20 options, but then you have like the Trader Joe's that only have 2 or 3 in a specific category.
Totally.
This products and solutions always bothers me.
Alex,
what's the combination of those?
I know, it's like, what's the difference?
Like, which one?
Yeah.
Should I go to products and is it going to have the solutions? But like the only thing I really know is I know the problem that I'm having. So why don't you meet me there?
I guarantee I'd love to talk to like the person who is the stakeholder on this project, because like it's always a debate. Like what are people going to look for? Do they want to like find a solution to their problem, or do they want to like, are they looking for a specific product? And I get that battle, because it really is like, one of our clients is a applicant tracking system for hiring, and it's like
ATS.
Yeah, ATS. And so you want to like talk to the people who are going to be using the product, because they're the ones with the pain points. So that's solution focused. Like, I want to like be able to give you a solution to your problem. But then there's other people that are going to be like, well, okay, my boss told me I got to go find an ATS replacement. And so now I'm going to just be looking for the features and functionality that are, within these products. And then I'm going to, give them a report later. So it is a tough thing. I don't, so I don't know. And I think like most of us end up in a situation like they have, where it's like, okay, we'll just give both options and see where it goes.
Good
but
point.
If I had to choose one, I mean, I'd go with the solution, because it's more about them than it is about me. And like, that's
I like
to me, like
approach,
I always
make it about them.
Yeah. I always default to like, if it's going to be one or the other, just make it about them.
All right, let's see what else they got here. Yeah. I'm just going to scroll slowly and just stop.
Yeah. You can stop.
Yeah.
I think we all, I don't know. It's like someone on my team is going to be mad at me for saying this, but like, I like the videos this soon are just,
you mentioned that.
Yeah. I hate the videos like on the homepage. I don't think, oh boy. Whoa. Yeah.
What about having the videos so early?
Well, I don't think people really like, that's not what I want to do first. Like, you got to like convince me to sit down and watch your content. Like, that's like, I got to like buy into what you're selling before I get to that point. So I'm not saying videos.
Like, why is this important to me? This, like, what she has to say.
Right. And maybe it is important. Maybe like you guys work through it and you're like, yeah, just having our customer from Cisco saying this great thing about our product. But I don't think I care enough right now. It's not really like doing anything for me. I just get rid of that stupid triangle and just leave it that she's there and she uses their product. Like, that's enough social
maybe
proof.
Like a quote or something.
Yeah, that's enough social proof for me. But again, like, I want to get into this like flow of, I think, back in the day when people used to read newspapers, they would skim, right? And then like the front page was basically all just like skimming, where it's like, I'm going to like look at like what the news is, and then I'm going to like look at what page this is on, and then I'm going to go there. And I think like as human beings, that's really kind of like the way that we behave when we're just touching the surface of anything. So the homepage is that, like, let them scroll, give them a story, but let it go. Like, just keep them moving down. Because like, I know you're going slow right now, but I guarantee like the first time you came to this site, or if you were not doing this podcast, you'd already be down the page and onto something else. Like there's no reading it. It's really like, I'm just checking out like what the story is here. And then I'll yeah. But anyways, so yeah, you can keep going.
Let's also point out what is good. I think we're ripping it obviously correctly, but if there's anything that we think is good,
overall it's good. Like I mean, I think always showing logos is important. And I mean, even your Cisco client, like that's a good thing that is going to definitely reinforce somebody who's like making the pitch that this is the right agency or this is the right brand to use. Like that reinforces it. So overall, it's just tweaks. Winning revenue is a team sport. Did they have another video? Oh no. Okay. Yeah, I like this. Okay, one of the things they're doing well here is compartmentalizing ideas. And I think this is an easy thing to do, but a lot of times people mess it up. Is like, as you scroll, there's nothing right where you're at right now. There's nothing above and there's nothing below That's taking away from this idea of winning revenue as a team sport. So like that is something that we try to do all the time. So it means adding more white space, you know, thinking about like how this is going to apply to mobile and you know, larger screens as well. And really, but keeping the message tight, because again, nobody's reading like those bullets. I'm not reading them, you know, but at least I get the idea here. Okay. And if I want to come back to it later, I know where to come and it's going to be memorable. But I also really like the treatment that they have on the images. Like, I think that always adds a lot to, I mean, like this is like, I hate stock photography. At one point I told my team, like, we're not putting any more stock photography on our site. Yeah. It lasted for a few years, but we ended up having to go back to the trough. But I think like this is a way to take a stock photo and make it yours and make it a brand. Like, right. Like it feels unique enough that I'm not like realizing that this came from Adobe stock. And that's good. So I like that.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I like that they're calling out validation.
For sure.
Which is great.
Maybe take a look at what
God.
Wrap up.
Yeah, well, this is awful. Yeah. Whoever chose that background. Oh my God.
A quick note, just this might be random and pointless, but I do whatever like when you black out everything, like on Google and everything like that, I do that. But when I see a website that's initially blacked out like this, I don't know why I have a negative reaction.
Like a black background?
Really?
Black background,
like a dark mode.
I feel like that's like highly tech. Anything you see with like anything related to blockchain, cryptocurrency,
for sure,
or AI, it's all blacked out.
I do agree. Yeah.
This is just awful. Sorry to whoever the graphic designer was that put this together. Like, it's just awful, and you know it.
Yeah.
Josh, I appreciate what you're saying. I go back and forth though. I think like very much kind of like there's trends, and I think for a while there was this Web 2.0 trend where it was all light and everything went that way. So I don't know. In some ways, like for some brands, I'm actually back into the dark mode design and kind of liking it. I agree with Alex. Like, I think crypto overdoes it. Yeah. But when you're a software brand, and your competitors are all doing white backgrounds and muted colors, I'm like, stand out, do something a little bit different.
Web 4.0 green backgrounds.
Ooh, yeah.
Again, before we finish up, any last thoughts on the website?
Okay. Here, let me just go through the rest.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I think it's pretty decent. They're doing a good job. I think like, again, it's like I wouldn't come into here and recommend that they do a redesign. I think this is like a good foundation. And I'm sure oh wow, that font's pretty small, but I'm sure there's opportunities of ways to improve things. Here's the one last thing. It's just like, remember, this is the end of your story. So make it good, make it memorable. I do think, like, from my opinion, the footer is an important aspect of the site, where it's like, okay, they got to the end and they didn't know what they wanted. So this is the time to give them a lot of options. But right before that really needs to be the grand finale of like, here's why you need this product. And like, I want you to go here because it's really important that you do it. And if you really can't get them there, then leave it up to them to figure out what to do next.
Do you have like, how would you rework this potentially to do that? Even
I would give it more space. I would probably add in some photography. Maybe this is where you use some real team members on your team. This is what we do, right? Like you can even put a mini form here of just like, get in touch with us, like learn more, whatever. Keep it really simple there. But I don't know, like this graphic doesn't do much for me. I think there's much better aspects at the top than they're at the bottom. But remember, like they're not going to stay at the top very long. So you can't, yeah, I was going to use a phrase I probably shouldn't use, but like you got to save some for the end.
Yeah.
I'll ask you after the recording.
I thought that was. I got it.
I think that's a great place to wrap up. And as we come up to the end of the episode, I just want to give you an opportunity to mention how people can find you and anything else you'd like to end with.
Yeah, soliddigital.com. Please come on there and rip me a new one. Tell me what we're doing wrong. I know we're not doing everything right. But yeah, that's the best place to contact us, reach out. I mean, we are on the socials, but it's not where people go to find agencies. So, so come to our site.
I do have one final question. Is your tattoo the same as the design on your shirt?
I noticed that as well. Yeah.
It's our brand.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. I saw that.
Branded.
I don't know if I was going to get that in earlier. I was like, all right, I'll save that. But, yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. And for those of you who've learned something new from this episode, please consider giving us a like or a follow so we can continue getting the highest quality of guests. And as always, thank you for listening. Jesse, this is great. This is exactly what we're looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for
it was awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for listening to the Masters in Marketing Agency podcast. I hope you got a ton of value out of this episode. And before we go, I just want to thank our sponsors, DevNoodle. DevNoodle provides marketing agencies with the ability to offer their clients unlimited website design, build, and management services with fixed monthly plans. If website design, development, and maintenance is holding your agency back from growing, please reach out to us at devnoodle.com, where we make websites easy for you and easy for your clients. devnoodle.com.